So Alexis McAllister to Manchester United is looking more and more like it's going to happen. I hope. That is what I want to happen. I'd love Alexis McAllister to Manchester United, in all honesty. I think he would be a very, very good player to have. Now, what we're going to do is deep dive into some statistics, why I think he might be good for Manchester United, along with why he possibly won't. Kind of compare him to how he can unlock other players within the team. Obviously, a little bit about McAllister is, obviously, he's a World Cup winner, playing for Brighton. He's been there quite a while. When I was doing my research, I didn't actually realise that he was at Brighton, or has been at Brighton for quite some time. Now, this is obviously going off the back of some tweets earlier on yesterday, when this video is going out, basically from Fabrizio, saying that Manchester United, Arsenal and Liverpool, I don't know if Man City are in there, I think Chelsea are in there, among the teams interested in bringing Alexis McAllister to their clubs. Manchester United and Ten Hag are very interested in him. Now, why would you be interested in McAllister? I mean, you know, a lot gets spoken about winning mentality, and although he hasn't been playing, you know, he's only 24, although he hasn't been playing for a long time, in the grand scheme of things in football careers, he's won the World Cup. He's done what a lot of very, very good players aren't able to do and aren't able to achieve within their career. And he's been able to do that along with being a part, or being a very kind of big part of winning that World Cup, right? He wasn't a starter to start with, and he worked his way into the team with the likes of Enzo Fernandez, obviously with Messi as well. And the Argentina side were very, very good. This guy, as I say, being a huge part. Now, what can he bring to Manchester United? I think there's, you know, he's definitely at Brighton been that number 10. Now, there's an argument as to what position, because we definitely do need a midfielder, right? But there's different positions within midfield that we might possibly want to venture into. As of late, we have seen Bruno Fernandes, with Casemiro's suspension that is, we've seen Bruno Fernandes dropping in that little bit deeper, playing almost deeper than an 8, playing as a 6, just in the games where we don't have to be as defensive, because look, I don't think Bruno would work as a 6 when we do need that physicality that Casemiro brings, because personally I just don't think Bruno's going to be able to do that. Yes, he is physical, but he is a little bit lightweight and can get pushed off the ball when he is coming up against the bigger players, similar to this guy. But if we were to look at a 10, like McAllister is, then Bruno could possibly drop deeper and be that ball progressor that we have seen as of late. He's been playing unbelievable recently. Yes, he's not been getting loads of assists, but again, statistics. We're gonna go into some of McAllister's statistics in a minute. That is a very hard word to say. Doesn't roll off the tongue. But yeah, we'll bring up just some goals and assists, because he's played, I think, about 29 games so far in all competitions for Brighton, Premier League. I don't think he made an appearance in the Carabao Cup, but this is Premier League and FA Cup. So 29 games, scoring 10 goals and getting 2 assists. So half decent return, in all honesty. It's not bad numbers. I mean, especially from a number 10. And he's playing for Brighton, right? So although Brighton are having a very good season by their standards, obviously we are going to have to come up against them in the semi-finals of the FA Cup. You know, Brighton aren't stereotypically a big team, right? They are probably no, they're definitely overperforming by their standards and their own kind of stereotype, right? They're very much overperforming. And Brighton are, I feel, a team that, look, their youth pool and their talent selection that they're able to go out and scout and then bring in, they always somehow find a way of regenerating players, right? Basuma left, all of a sudden Caicedo comes out the woodwork and is even better and is linked with, you know, £80 million moves, £100 million moves to Arsenal, City, whoever it may be, even us. And this guy, he was brought in, I can't even remember, and I don't even want to attempt the name of the team, but he was brought in at a very, very cheap rate, was loaned out. I think he went to Boca Juniors for a little bit, and he's had kind of the last 2 to 3 seasons have been his proper breakout seasons. Now, let's bring up some different numbers, and this is why statistics can be a little bit contextual, right? Because we all know Alexis McAllister is a very good footballer. But if you look at these statistics, shot creating actions, progressive carries, successful take-ons and tackles, 3.29, 1.89, 1.14 and 2.31. Now, if you compare these to other players in the Premier League in his position, these are pretty bang average, in all honesty. When it comes to percentile, he's around anywhere ranging with these stats, anywhere from about the 75th to the 80th percentile. So nothing outstanding. they're all kind of green. They're all considered good, but you know, when you're looking at outliers, you're looking at your cockatoos. Yes, it's a different league. You know, Bruno Fernandes will have some outrageous 95th percentile stats, but these are what Graham Souness would say. He's a steady Eddie. He's a steady Eddie type player, I think, and these stats do show that. And I feel like, I mean, stats are very contextual anyway, and it depends on how you're looking at him. And the eye test tells me that McAllister is a very good footballer. Now, that is all that kind of matters in my eyes. What can he bring to Manchester United? As I said, possibly we're looking at, you know, that bringing in that number 8. Now, do we actually need the number 8? Bruno can drop in deep. We bring in McAllister. It doesn't have to be McAllister, but you know, we bring him in, and it allows and unlocks Bruno Fernandes that little bit more. Obviously, we're looking at bringing in a striker. I think striker is definitely more important than a midfielder, and I think context in terms of how much this guy is going to cost is definitely whether or not you guys are going to be interested in wanting to go out there and get him. You know, Brighton are going to be able to drive a hard bargain. They don't sell easily. They've proven that with the Caicedo deal. They didn't roll over and show their bellies to Arsenal as soon as they offered a bit of cash. They were like, no, we're keeping him. He's just signed a new deal, right? I'm sure he will go, but him signing a new deal, Caicedo, they're obviously going to get a lot more money for him. And Caicedo will then get a bigger contract from whichever club he goes to. Now, I believe McAllister is on around about 50,000 a week. So, in the grand scheme of what Manchester United's salaries are, it's not that much. Obviously, if we were to sign him, I mean, look, that's probably going to double between, you know, 180 grand, something like that. But I think he's worth it. In all honesty, my personal opinion, whether I think it's going to happen, I don't know. I think you're looking at minimum probably 50, 60 million. He has a year or two left on his deal. So whether or not he does sign a new deal, I'm not too sure. But this is where you guys get involved. This is where I want your guys' opinions. So do get in the comments as to whether or not, you know, because I put a tweet out earlier on. Are people interested in signing? Now, a lot of people were saying yes. A lot of people were very interested. Now, I think a lot of people just like the thought of Manchester United signing loads and loads of players. That's why they're interested. But if you think about what he can bring to Manchester United, does he start? Is he just a squad player? I think personally, you know, football is now 100% a squad game. You can't just rely on your 11 best players anymore. Man City have proven their bench is just as good as their starting 11 players. They constantly rotate. You know, sometimes you've got Mahrez, Bernardo Silva, even De Bruyne on the bench, and they're still beating teams. And this is what Manchester United, I hate to say it, need to be looking to do. They need to be looking to bring in starting 11 players and being like, look, you guys are going to be on the bench sometimes. And that's just the way it has to be if we're going to go and fight for the best titles, the best, and be the best, right? That's what you've got to do. And that's why Liverpool have not had success this season, because they haven't replenished the squad. And this is why when new owners come in, hopefully we reinvest into players like this guy. But do let me know your thoughts on Alexis McAllister, whether or not you would like to bring him into Manchester United, because I'm a yes. I wouldn't go above 50 million, in all honesty, maybe even less, 40 million. I think, you know, there are other options out there, in all honesty, that are probably better. But you talk about Premier League proven, World Cup winner, he scores goals, he creates opportunities, and he's a steady Eddie. He's pretty good at what he does. But guys, let me know your guys' thoughts, because I'm very intrigued. Would you guys sign Alexis McAllister for Manchester United?